everybody, welcome back to another episode. Wait, my mic's all the way over here. Ha! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Welch On-Ice. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I created a 99 overall player, and I assigned him to the Edmonton Oilers, and we are going to see how he simulates through his career. How many cups will he win? How many Art Ross trophies will he get? How many Norris trophies will he get? Did I forget to mention he's an offensive defenseman? Reginald Foster is his name, and like I said, I assigned him to the Edmonton Oilers, and we're going to see how he simulates. But before we do that, I just want to take this time to say, make sure that you like this video and you subscribe, because there's still lots of content coming your guys' way. So, without further ado, let's see how Reginald Foster does. Okay, so like I said, he is with the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm actually not going to pick the Edmonton Oilers because I'm doing this through franchise mode. So I'm just going to pick a neutral team so that way we can just see where he ends up. I'll just pick the Minnesota Wild for instance. That way I have no control over Forrester's career. He can just do his own thing, and we're just going to keep up with him on how he does. We're going to turn the owner mode off, and I think that's the only other thing we need to turn off. I'm not even going to be concerned about whether or not Minnesota does well. We're just going to see how Foster does. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to check out Edmonton's line, see who he's playing with. I put him on with Edmonton for obvious reasons. Want to get him playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, as well as Bouchard. Although, wait, what? Where is he? I don't see him. Okay, for some reason, Edmonton hasn't signed Foster yet. He's an RFA. I guess we'll see if anything comes of that. That could be really sad for him. All right, well, we'll sim to December, and if he's not signed by December, then we may have to refigure this video out here. Okay, so it's December 5th or something like that. Let's see. Did Edmonton sign Reginald Foster? They didn't. At least it doesn't look that way. Okay, so a really funny thing happened. Edmonton didn't sign Reginald, but you know who did? The Calgary Flames. And for some reason, he's a 95 overall and not a 99 like I made him. But hey, that's okay, I guess. Let's check out his stats. He's played 27 games and has gotten 32 points. I guess putting him on Edmonton didn't really help us, or help him. I figured playing with McDavid and Draisaitl would have been good for him, but I guess he's going to carry Calgary's back this year. So we'll see how he simulates. So the first season of Foster's career has come and gone, and now we're gonna take a look how he did on the Flames. So he led their team in points. In 80 games, he had 105 points, 31 goals, 74 assists, was a plus 12. So not bad for his first career. Nazem Kadri was the only help he really had. A little bit of help from Huberdeau as well. Again, it's really unfortunate that we didn't get put on a team with Edmonton, if I'm being honest. That's very, very sad and very unfortunate. I mean, he's got to be a Calder candidate. If we throw this onto the entire league, surely, he almost led the league in points. Kucherov got the Art Ross. He's not going to be getting a Rocket this year, but if we put this on rookie skaters, he's definitely the first one. There you go. So the Calder's definitely going to be his. So, did Calgary make the playoffs? So that's the real question. Calgary did not make the playoffs. They were 38, 35, and 9. They did place better than the Minnesota Wild, and that may be partly because I have not done any moves on this team. However, the whole purpose of this video is to watch Reginald on the Flames. So let's see if Calgary can get him some help over the offseason. Well, would you look at this? The Edmonton Oilers are the Stanley Cup champions, and the Iowa Wild actually are the Calder Cup champions. So that's pretty funny, actually. The fact that Edmonton won the cup even without Foster. They didn't even need him. And sadly, Calgary doesn't even have a first-round pick that's given to Edmonton. So dang, that's too bad. I was really hoping that Foster could get some help maybe in this draft. And surely he didn't retire after one season, correct? No, he's still in it. Okay, so let's see what Calgary did this offseason. So looks like they're still rocking Kadri, Huberdeau, and Frost on their top line. Nothing really except maybe Mason Appleton is an addition. Let's see, did they add anything on the defensive end? Not really. Parek's up there now, so Foster did in fact jump up to a 99 after last season. So we'll see how he sims this season, and hopefully Calgary can make a playoff spot. Okay, season 2 has come and gone. Let's see how Reginald Foster simmed this season. Only 90 points this season. I'm quite shocked by that, if I'm being completely honest. 23 goals, 67 assists, nice, for 90 points. So still a point per game. It was a -4. Guys, he needs some help. Let's be real. He needs some help here. He's got, oh wow, another 6 years remaining on his contract. So Calgary, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to help him? Did Calgary make the playoffs? They did not. So hopefully this year Calgary can get a high draft pick. One thing that I forgot to look at last year was the awards. So when we sim through the playoffs this year, we'll take a peek at last year's awards as well. And just like that, the Edmonton Oilers are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. So Matthews got the Art Ross this year and the Hart. The Norris goes to Makar this year. However, if we look at that second line, Foster did in fact get a Norris last year. I just, again, forgot to take a peek at the trophies because we didn't make the playoffs. So yeah, Foster gets the Norris in his first year. He also gets the Calder in his first year. So that's a good little addition to his trophy case. As far as any other trophies go, he doesn't get any others. So again, what's Calgary going to do this offseason to get him some help? We're going to have to see and find out. I don't know how Edmonton keeps doing it, but they have Calgary's first round pick this year as well. So that must have been from some previous trade that I'm just forgetting exists.
So fun fact, when you sign an RFA from another team, you have to do what's called an offer sheet. And so you offer this player a certain salary. And if a certain salary, let's say Foster, for example, he was making $10 million a year. So there's compensation that has to happen. And so what I didn't realize as I was making this video was that Calgary offer sheeted Reginald Foster. And so because of that, and because of how much they offered him, they had to compensate Edmonton with 2 first-round picks. That's where those first-round picks came from, and now we're all a little bit more educated.
Nonetheless, here we are without a first-round pick for Calgary again. So it's going to be interesting to see what additions they make in the offseason. So Calgary, again, no major additions. We're going to see on the back end, again, nothing. There's been no additions made this offseason, so I don't think we're going to expect different results from Foster. A really unfortunate situation. I was really hoping that Edmonton would have signed him, but I guess snooze you lose. They don't really need him in the fact that they won the previous 2 cups, but it just is unfortunate for his simming's sake. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Calgary makes some good acquisitions throughout this season. We will have to find out. Okay, so season 3 in the books. Let's see, how did Foster do on the Flames this year? Okay, so a little bit better than the previous year. 111 points, 38 goals, 73 assists. If we compare that with the rest of the league, does that put him in an Art Ross conversation? Whoa. Have yourselves a year, I guess. Draisaitl, 160 points. Wow. Makar with 133 as well. So we're not getting the Norris this year again. That's crazy. Can we get Forster some help, please? Or Foster some help? Did Calgary even make the playoffs this year? Oh, they did. Look at that. Yeah, so okay, so they made the playoffs. So I guess we're going to have to see what happens in the playoffs. Did they win the cup? Let's sim ahead and find out. Okay, so the Colorado Avalanche have won the Stanley Cup. That's not all that surprising, if I'm being honest. How far did Calgary make it? Did they make it to the conference final? Oh, they lost in the first round to the Canucks in Game 7. That's unfortunate. 1 point in 7 games. Reginald, what's going on, man? Oh, wait. He only played 1 game. Never mind. That's probably why they lost. Shoot, that's too bad. So Foster got a little bit of the injury bug during the playoffs. That's pretty unfortunate. Colorado's your Stanley Cup champions. Leon Draisaitl with 160 points, having a statement year there for the Art Ross, the Hart. The Norris goes to Makar and the Lady Byng. Rainbacker gets the Calder. Conn Smythe goes to McKinnon. So look at all of these trophies that are not going Foster's way. Will Calgary do anything to give him help? We shall see. You know, part of me wants to actually send a trade for Kaprizov over to Calgary for a 7th round pick because, again, no help for the guy. Absolutely no help. Even on defense, again, no adjustments. Nothing has changed except for the addition of Igor Chinnikov. And I gotta say, Calgary GM, I'm slightly disappointed. Barrett Hayton also was an addition, but he's a depth guy, so you never know. I mean, this team will probably make the playoffs again if just looking at the depth. However, there's no star talent except for Foster, and that may be because they're paying him what, 10 mil a year? Is it? Yeah, 10.05. So hey, we'll have to see. He's got 4 more years left on his contract, and so after that's up, who knows? Will he stay with Calgary or will he move on to another team that can actually do something with him? We're gonna have to find out. But let's see how his 4th year goes. Year 4 in the books. Foster gets 107 points, 79 assists, 28 goals. Kadri had 84 points, and then a big jump down to Chinnikov with 57 points. So really it's just Foster and Kadri that are running the show in Calgary, and I would be shocked if they were even close. Yeah, we got McKinnon with 160 points again, 99 goals. That is a record. Nathan McKinnon, wow. Have yourself a year. What? That's crazy. Bedard, also a goal per game. That is wild. Did anybody else get? No, so it's just those two with a goal per game. That's crazy. Look at that. All right, first D-man on the list. Who's it going to be? Foster. Okay, so maybe he did lead the... Oh, never mind. I missed Makar. My bad, folks. 127 assists on the guy. Wow, that is something else. So I would be shocked again. Makar is just stealing the show from us. McKinnon and Makar are just going on an absolute tear. Calgary did make the playoffs again. It looks like they're playing against the Vegas Golden Knights. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Hopefully this year Foster doesn't get injured. So we're going to have to simulate and see. But yeah, fingers crossed he doesn't get injured and that he can make a deep playoff run and maybe get a Conn Smythe trophy and a Stanley Cup. So let's see how that plays out. So the Vegas Golden Knights are the Stanley Cup champions, which means that Calgary did get bounced in the first round. So let's take a look and see if it was a clean sweep. Was it a close game 7? It was a clean sweep. Look at that. Vegas won 4-0 in the series. I'd be shocked if Foster did well. We're gonna jump over here, take a little peek. So yeah, so in 4 games, Foster had 1 assist. That is pretty weak for a guy who's still a 99 overall, for the record. 99 in every single attribute. Definitely not good. He's got 3 years left in his contract, and we're gonna have to see what happens. Did he win any awards? My guess is likely not. Yeah, Makar for the 3rd year in a row gets the Norris. No points for any Calgary player there. Well, again, Calgary GM, what are you gonna do? You have so much potential that is sitting on your doorstep, and you don't even realize it. What you gonna do? The tale as old as time continues. Like, how much cap space do they have? Are we just not paying these players? Like, do we have do we have, or are we overpaying these players? We have no cap space. Parek's a 90 overall. That's pretty good. We must have a lot of money tied up in a couple players here, because the fact that we've got no star depth here, it's pretty crazy. Actually, I'm that makes me curious. I'm gonna investigate. So Calgary actually does in fact only have about $0.5 million of cap space. So their hands are tied, in fact. So we're gonna see what happens this year. I'm sure it'll be great. Just a little update: through 4 seasons, Foster has played 326 games and has 413 points. Obviously, amazing stats. That's more than a point per game. However, I'd be really curious to see what his stats were like if he had a little bit of star power around him. Also, for a defenseman, this is pretty fantastic. So you can never really complain about that. I'm hoping that we can at least get him up around the 2,000, maybe even the 3,000 point threshold by the time he retires. But we're gonna have to see. Probably 5 seasons, he's going to have 500 points, which means by 25 seasons, he should realistically have 2,500 points. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out. Okay, so Foster, I believe that's a career high 121 points, 35 goals, 86 assists. Am I right in saying this, or am I wrong? No, I am right. 121 points is a career high. Let's see, how did he do in comparison to the rest of the league? I've still got a feeling it's pretty low. Okay, not so bad actually. Led the defense actually in points. So 121 points. I'm not crazy by saying that, am I? No, yeah, Makar only had 100 points this year, so he's 31 now, so he may be falling off a little bit. So yeah, we may be looking at a Norris Trophy this year, and perhaps a Lady Byng. And so I think too, Calgary has also made the playoffs. So yep, they're playing against the Utah Mammoth for the first time. Actually, the Wild too have made the playoffs, so they're playing against Colorado. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a Wild and Calgary final, or Western Conference final, I should say. But yeah, let's go ahead and see how that goes. So again, back-to-back years, the Vegas Golden Knights are the Stanley Cup champions. Let's take a peek and see how Foster did in the playoffs. So I guess Foster just doesn't play well under pressure. In 11 games, he got 6 points. Huberdeau and Parek were the team leaders with 11 and 10. So I don't know what's going on here, Foster. Is your clutch abilities just aren't there apparently. That's unfortunate actually. Let's take a peek. Did he get the Norris this year? So the Art Ross goes to McDavid. So does the Hart. The Norris, Makar? What? How did make that make sense? Our guy had like 22 points more than Makar did. Did we get any trophies? We didn't. I'm gonna have to go back and see what's the difference here between Makar and, if I isolate just the defenseman. So Foster, he had 21 more points than Makar did. He had 4 more assists, 17 more goals. Now, Makar did have the plus-minus category of plus 49 to plus 5. Foster took some more penalties. He had the better shooting percentage, more power play points, shorthanded points, more time on ice, more hits, more block shots, more takeaways. So the only factor I'm really seeing that Makar's leading in is plus-minus. I'm a little confused right now, but you know what? I don't make the rules, and it is what it is. So, Calgary, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to give him more support here? Let's find out. I will say I like the addition of Warren Foegele. I think he tends to sim well in this game, I think. Although he is a little bit older now, and he's 34 and an 83 overall. There's not really much, again, that's changed. I don't know why Perek is still on the third D pairing. I know he's a right D and we're a 99 overall, but I feel like it'd be kind of cool if we had him up there with us. Not gonna lie. So through 5 years, we got 534 points in the NHL. This is where we hurt, though. Playoff stats. 16 games played and only 8 points. So that's something that we're going to have to turn around. Also, when we're looking at our plus minus, it's been a pretty rough go. I mean, with the exception of this year or 2 years ago, we haven't really had a very good season in the plus minus category. And I think that was what happened with Makar getting the Norris last year. Maybe his playoff stats had something to do with it too. But Foster, Reginald Foster, 2 years left on his contract. Let's see what he can do with Calgary this year. All right. So season 6 is done now. 6, I think. Off season alert. 92 points in 80 games. So he missed 2 games for some reason. 26 goals, 66 assists, plus 11. That is definitely not going to be good enough. Mostly because I know that Quinn Hughes on our team got more points than that. Hold up. 96 goals. Whoa, Bedard with 99. That's crazy. That's actually wild. But Matthews leading the league with 174 points. Bedard only had 28 assists. That's shows you pass the puck there, kid. All right, so let's go to defensemen, see how we did. Overall, kind of a weak year for defensemen, with the exception of Makar, Dahlin, and Hughes, of course. Makar, congratulations. You've done it again. Another Norris to your name. I'm 100% certain. And if we take a look at the playoff tree, Calgary is in it once again, playing against the San Jose Sharks. So let's see. Can Foster, our boy Reggie, finally step it up in the playoffs and, go on a little bit of a run? Well, would you look at this? The Florida Panthers are once again Stanley Cup champions. Now, I think this is the first time in our simulation that a team from the East has actually won the Cup. To my recollection, it went Edmonton, and then I think Colorado was up there, and then maybe then Vegas went back-to-back, I think. But, hey, let's see. Yeah, so Florida, Vegas, Colorado, Edmonton. That is right. The Stanley Cup finally goes back to the East. Matthews gets your Art Ross, your Hart. The Norris goes to who else other than Cale Makar? The Lady Byng to Matthews. And, no trophies yet again. Let's see who made it to the finals. Okay, so Calgary lost to Edmonton in the second round. And Edmonton, once again, loses to Florida in the Stanley Cup finals. The only difference here is that Edmonton in this simulation has already won it twice. How did Foster do in this simulation? My guess is going to be probably not great. Oh, actually, that's surprising. For the first time in our simulation, we are point per game in the playoffs. So that's a pretty outstanding 21 points in 14 games played. That's got to be close to the leader, probably. Okay, so we're almost on the top 10 list here. Good job, Foster. Did he lead all? He led all defensemen in the playoffs with the points. McDavid, first 4 points in the playoffs. So, Calgary, Foster's going into his last season. What are you going to do? What is going to be the piece that you bring in to secure a Stanley Cup? Will Foster walk after this year? Will he stay? Who knows? We will find out in due time. Okay, so it looks like Hayton has progressed up to the top line. Tolvanen as well is a new addition this season, if I do recall. Kadri's bumped down to the second line. He's 41 and still playing, so good on him. 84 overall. Hayton's 31 now. We got a pretty old first 2 lines, if I'm being honest. I would say the average age on these top 2 lines, even including Kadri, and even though he's a bit of an outlier, I'd say it's probably around 32. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, actually. We just have a pretty old team in general. Not much young talent here. except on the defensive end. Oh, look at this. Parekh and Foster up at the top together. I don't know why it took them so long to do this. I'm excited for this year. I've got a feeling these two are just going to have chemistry to just light it up. I believe Parekh's also an offensive defenseman. Oh no, he's a two-way. Okay, so we are strictly offensive defensemen. So he's gonna be feeding us the puck quite a bit. I would imagine. Wolf is still in net for us. So, and Shishkanov is the second goalie. All right, in 6 seasons, 626 points. So, season number 7, what do you have in store for us? We will find out. Season 7 in the books, and we are back in the 100s for the points. So 31 goals, 75 assists, 106 points. Firebee is second on our team with 71 points, and Naz gets 67. So let's see, how do we compare with the rest of the league? Wow, big year for, holy smokes, 118 goals for Austin Matthews this year. Okay. Rantanen second in goals, 95. Minchkov up there with 87. Wow, that's pretty nuts. So Matthews 192 points, and I've got a feeling that if we look at defensemen, we're probably not first. Yeah. Oh, Fox is up there this year, giving Makar a run for his money with the Norris Trophy. So then us at third. Reginald couldn't quite get it done this year, although it was a good bounce back season from being down last year. Take a look at the playoff tree this year, and Calgary is playing against Dallas. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things shake up this year. Last year, we had some pretty good success, 21 points in 14 games. So let's try to replicate that this year as well. And it's the last year of our contract. So we're gonna have to see if we can make a push for the playoff or for the Stanley Cup. And if not, who knows where Reginald Foster is gonna end up. The Dallas Stars are the Stanley Cup champions, which means that Calgary lost in the first round. So that is pretty rough. Ooh, it was in 7. And we were the only team to take Dallas to 7. So if we had won that game, who knows what would have happened. There's a chance that we could have been sitting there as Cup champions. Well, let's take a peek also at the stats. So he had 11 points in 7 games. Again, a point per game, much better than previous years and previous seasons. And so this offseason, we're going to be very curious to see what ends up happening with Foster. Is he going to stay with the Sharks, or will he, or not the Sharks, the Flames, or will he move on? Time will tell. Let's see. It's the moment of truth. We are going to see, did Foster stay with the Calgary Flames or not? Pinto signed with the Flames this offseason. Kadri was one of the retired players, so he's no longer on the team. Hanzik signed as well as Newhook. And so there's a couple different additions, McLeod as well. So let's see. Did Foster stay? He did. That's a very interesting development. I honestly was hoping that he wouldn't. However, he did. And here we are. We're still on a pairing with Parekh. And so, I mean, a couple good additions, though, I will be honest, and some good depth. So maybe this year will be the year that they finally break through. Wolf is still tending the net, so that's a good thing, too. Let's see let's see what kind of contract he signed with them. So Foster signed, oh wow, only a 1-year deal, 16 mil. He's saying this year, if it's not this year, I'm moving on. So that's a very interesting development. I would have thought they would have tried to lock him down long term, but no, Foster had other plans. So let's see what's going to happen this year. So through 7 seasons now, we have 732 points, 212 goals, 520 assists, and career 86 plus minus. Definitely want to see that plus minus get up. When you're looking all these other stats here. What stands out? Not much, to be honest. We have just as many hits as we do points, so that's interesting. What will Foster do this year? But before actually we jump into that, I'm very curious, after Matthews' 118 goal season, what the record book is looking like. Firstly, we're going to jump over to Foster here. So on the Flames, he's currently the career goals leader. Now this is among active players. So Foster's got 212 goals, 520 assists. So therefore has the most points as well. If we look at each season, Foster has 86 assists, which is actually an all-time record for a season. However, points, Kent Nielsen still holds a record of 131. Foster almost getting there, 121. But if we were to jump over and take a peek at the entire NHL, who's got the most goals in a season? Look at that. Austin Matthews. Wayne Gretzky's record has been beaten by 4 other players. And Matthews, the only player yet, though, to get above 100 goals. Very interesting. Cale Makar also, and William Nylander on the assist board for most assists in a season. That's pretty shocking. Let's see what Foster can do in his last potential season with the Flames. Last in his contract, first in his contract, but also last in his contract. So, yeah, let's see how this all plays out this year. Season 8 is done, and not only did Foster get a career-high 133 points, he has also broken the 131 points in a season record that was held by Calgary's best before. And so now Foster has become a legend in Calgary. And for the first time, he almost got 50 goals. Only 47 goals, 86 assists, 133 points. I'm really curious to see how that plays out in comparison to the rest of the league. Foster, number 1 D-man at 133 points, also had a 47 plus minus, so that's pretty decent, especially considering that our career plus minus is only 86 at the start of this season. The next best defenseman is all the way down here. Cale Makar with 112 points. So I'm really hoping that this year we can finally secure that Norris. We've gotten one before with him. I believe he's won it once. Okay, he's won in his very first season. He got the Norris and he got the Calder, but since then has not been able to get it. So let's see. In his 8th season, is this the season where he finally gets it? As far as goals go, we didn't have anything super crazy this year, although 85 will forever be a crazy stat. But in this sim, not too bad. Jack Eichel is your Art Ross recipient. Connor Bedard is your Rocket. And we're going to see who gets the other trophies. Taking a look at the playoff tree, we are once again playing against the Golden Knights. It's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up here. So we're gonna see. Will we have some playoff success like we've had in the past 2 years, at least point wise? I would love to see him get a Stanley Cup. That'd be my heart's biggest desire, for him to get a Stanley Cup before potentially leaving Calgary at the end of the season. So let's see how it pans out. This year's Stanley Cup champions are the Chicago Blackhawks. Bedard finally has a chip on his shoulder. So despite Calgary having a pretty good season, they did in fact fall in the first round once again. So in 5 games, Foster had 6 points, 1 goal, and 5 assists. So can't really complain about that. You can't say he didn't really do anything. He was a point per game. So it's just the rest of the team's got to pick up the slack here. So the Art Ross goes to Eichel. The Hart goes to Eichel. And look at that. Foster with his 2nd Norris. You love to see it. The Lady Byng goes to Eichel. And our Welch, there we go, representing Welch on Ice, gets the Calder. Maybe a distant cousin, who knows. And the Vezina goes to Wolf. Look at that. So the 2 Calgary players with trophies. He also gets the Jennings. We did get 1 trophy. We're still yet to get an Art Ross. I think it's doable. I really do think it's doable. I don't think Rocket will be in our range, especially as a defenseman. However, the Art Ross, I think, is definitely doable. Where's Foster going to go this offseason? Time will tell. Let's see. Once again, it is the moment of truth. Did Foster stay with Calgary? He did. Look at that. Let's see. What's his deal looking like? Whoa. He got paid. So 23.965 for the next 7 years. He is in Calgary. Now, I'm hoping the fact that since he's taken that much money, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to sign any other star players. By the looks of their roster, I mean, Parekh, he's got to be on a pretty decent contract too right now. He's on the last year of his 6.8, so we'll see if he sticks around. That'd be nice if he did, because that's a pretty solid first D pair. As far as the rest of our team goes, we're looking a little bit lighter this year. We got Kuzmenko on the first line at a 78 overall. Pinto's on the second line. He's gone up 1 overall since last season. He's an 89 overall. So it's, again, still looking like a pretty old first 2 lines, first 3 lines. Do we have any players in their 20s? Okay, we got Callum Ritchie's in his 20s. Was that it? Yikes. I mean, on the offensive front, got a pretty young D core with the exception of Anderson and Bryson and Ball. Oh man, this may be rough. Wolf, he's gone down in overall. He's an 87 overall now. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how this season plays out. So in 8 seasons in the NHL now, Foster has 865 points, 259 goals, 606 assists. Plus minus went up drastically that last season to 133, almost 200 career power play points as well. That's pretty much it. So yeah, 8 seasons, 865 points. I would love to see him get 1,000 points in only 9 seasons. I think that'd be pretty top tier, and I think he can do it. Okay, so the first season of Foster's, I always want to say Forster for some reason. The first season of Foster's big contract, he gets 102 points, 28 goals, 74 assists. So he did not, in fact, get 1,000 points in 9 seasons, which slightly disappointed, not gonna lie, Foster. I had much higher expectations for you. Let's see how he did in comparison to the rest of the league. Byfield gets the Art Ross this year. Look at that. I wouldn't have guessed that. Bedard gets the Rocket. Let's see who led in assists. Eklund led the league in assists. The more you know. If we jump over to defensemen, let's take a look at who's first here. Makar, once again, will not be denied. Gets 120 points, 91 assists, 29 goals. He was a -4 though, so I think I've seen this movie before. The player with the higher points, but the lower plus minus did not get it. So, hey, you never know. Our +6 isn't that commendable, but hey, maybe it's enough. Maybe it's enough. Where we can really make a case for ourselves is in the playoffs here. So we're playing against the Sharks in the first round. Hopefully we can have a little bit of playoff success, because it's just been a bunch of first round exits after first round exits, after second round exits, after first round exits. So let's see what Calgary can do this year. The Ottawa Senators are the Stanley Cup champions. Let's see, where did Calgary go wrong this year? Was it the first round? No. Was it the second round? Yes. That's unfortunate. And the Blues swept the Blackhawks, who beat the Flames out. And so the Stanley Cup playoffs go to Game 7. It's been a while since that's happened. And so Ottawa takes it. Byfield gets the Art Ross. Matthews gets the Hart. The Norris does go to Makar. So in 13 games, Foster had 16 points, 5 goals, 11 assists. So again, keeping that point per game average in the playoffs. I believe we've almost got our totals up to that point per game average. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I was looking at the assist column. We do 62 points in 55 playoff games. But still, no Stanley Cup to show for it. We have 967 points, 287 goals, 680 assists, in 9 seasons. So let's see, what does season number 10 bring? Is it a Stanley Cup? We shall find out. I'm only showing this because nothing has changed. Absolutely no changes whatsoever to our lineup pretty much, except for this Chase Stillman gets on our squad, but other than that, defense all looks the same pretty much. So yeah, we're sitting in an interesting position here. So hopefully Perek and oh wait a sec, Perek was on the last year of his deal last year. Oh, let's go. He signed for 7 years, so that's something actually that's noteworthy. You got this Perek Foster connection for the next 6 years at least. It'll be interesting to see how these two guys can lead the squad. Okay, so another season has come and gone. However, this time, for the first year in many years, Calgary has not made the playoffs. If we take a peek at the playoff tree, nowhere to be found. What did Foster do this year? Ooh, an exceptionally rough year. I think that's the lowest in our career. 89 points, 25 goals, 64 assists. So yeah, that's just, I don't even think I even need to look at what the other teams did, because I'm just going to assume that we're not even close to it. Bedard with 105 goals, joining Matthews to be the second player to get that 100 goal marker. If we jump down to defensemen only, Dahlin, wow, a very weak year. I was going to say, did Makar retire? No, he didn't. He just only got 83 points. So Dahlin is looking like he's going to be the Norris Trophy winner this year. So let's sim ahead and see who gets those trophies this year. The Calgary Flames have the first overall draft pick, and the Minnesota Scouts have done an awful job, which makes sense because I have not done anything regards to Minnesota whatsoever. So it is really hard to tell whether or not there's a franchise player available. Yeah, so let's take a peek though quickly at who won the Stanley Cup this year, because that seemed to go by super quickly. Chicago Blackhawks have done it once again. Bedard with the Art Ross, the Hart. The Norris goes to Heiskanen. Interesting. I'm pretty sure he was below us in points. Lady Bing to Rantanen. Wouldn't it be nice to play with a solid forward on our team? Wouldn't that just be so wonderful? We don't get any awards this year. I'm very curious, why did Heiskanen, he had 87 points this year and was a plus 52, so I'm really believing that plus minus plays a big factor into it. I'm also wondering if in the playoffs, if that had anything to do with it either. Did Dallas even make the playoffs? Okay, so there he is, all the way down here. So I take it that the playoffs don't really have much to do with the Norris, just based off that alone. Yeah, let's see what additions come Calgary's way. They got a first round pick, so hopefully there's a franchise player available this draft. Here's a pretty good addition. So we had Tija Ginla join our squad. He's an 83 overall and he's only 29, so there's still time for him to improve. I'm hoping that with him playing with Perek and I, that he can get his overall up maybe to the high 80s, and maybe we could get something good going for us here. Other than Tej joining our team, there's nothing really to note too much. We're kind of getting into the phase of our Be A Pro where it's just a bunch of more random players who we don't necessarily know that well and haven't had much NHL experience. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We did hit 1,000 points last season as well, so we're at 1,056 points. We're looking to potentially break the 800 assist marker, and who knows, if we have a really great season, why not the 400 goal marker? I feel like that's not as probable. We are in fact in the 1,000 point club before we're in the 1,000 game played club, so definitely a good side of the stat sheet to be on. Okay, so Reginald Foster got 103 points, a little bit of a bounce back season from last year, being in the 80s. 40 goals, 63 assists, 103 points. Let's see, did any other defenseman in the league get close to that? I'm gonna guess yes. No. Interesting. We may be looking at another Norris. We only played 78 games too. We were missing out on 4 games. Look at that. I'm shocked. Did Makar retire? Did I miss that? No, he's just 37 and now an 85 overall. Maybe the reign of Makar is finally over. Look at that. Calgary also made the playoffs, and they're playing against the Kings in the first round. So that'll be very interesting to see how that shakes up. The New Jersey Devils are the Stanley Cup champions. Calgary could not take it home. Let's see what happened. What went wrong? Where did they lose? Was it the first round again? I wouldn't be shocked. It was. In 6 games, Calgary loses and the Kings win. And then the New Jersey Devils beat the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup final. In 6 games, let's see, what did Foster do? I every single time say Forrester. What did Foster do in these playoffs? 6 games, 9 points, 2 goals, 7 assists for a +5. Tough to be mad at a guy like that. The next best guy was Pinto with 4 points. So the rest of the team was just caught slacking. Let's see what kind of help we can get Foster here in this offseason, and hopefully next season come back a little bit stronger. I believe we've got 5 years left now on our contract, so we're gonna have to see how things play out. Okay, so again, no stars really added except for Grayson Swanson, who's an 85 overall. We'll see if that turns into anything. Iginla went up 1 overall. He was an 83 last year. He's an 84 now this year. As far as the defensive end goes, Prex sitting at a 91. We're still sitting up at a 99. We're 29 now, so we're probably going to do one more long-term deal and then probably retire after that, because if we're looking at our contract, we have another 4 years left, so we will be 33 when this contract's up. So we'll probably do like another maybe 4-year deal would be my guess, and then probably hang up the skates. So we're looking at another probably 7 or 8 seasons. And if we're looking at our full stats, we have 352 goals, 807 assists for 1,159 points. Not too shabby. We have 253 power play points, 34 shorthanded points, which is actually pretty impressive. We've hit the 1,000 mark for both hits and blocks. And yeah, we're doing pretty well. We're still sitting under 900 games. So the fact that we have 1,000 points, 1,000 hits, 1,000 blocks in under 900 games, we're almost an assist per game kind of person too. So that's pretty cool. A great year for Foster. Gets 119 points, 38 goals, 81 assists. Now, I would like to get some help for him because Coronado's our next best at 65 points. So Foster's just absolutely on a mission, trying to get any help he can. If we go to the whole league, let's take a peek here. It's looking like Foster's the top D man. I don't see any other D except for Werenski, who may be close to him. However, Foster was +29, Werenski was +10. So things are looking up for us for another Norris. I forgot to look actually at the awards last year if we got the Norris or not. I'm assuming we did. Did we? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. It's the problem about playing so many seasons. It's tough to remember these things. Love to see it. 81 assists. However, Celebrini, have yourself a year. 167 points, 81 goals, 86 assists. Calgary did make the playoffs, and for the second year in a row, they're playing against the Los Angeles Kings. Hopefully this year is a different outcome, and hopefully they don't get bounced in the first round. We will see. Ladies and gentlemen, the Stanley Cup champions, the Calgary Flames. This is some pretty exciting stuff. The Calgary Flames have won the Stanley Cup, and it's time to take a peek. Who's getting the Conn Smythe? I've got a sneaking suspicion it may be Foster. Foster gets the Norris. It was for the second year in a row. I just forgot to look at the awards last year. The Conn Smythe also goes to Foster. Look at that. First time getting the Conn Smythe. You absolutely love to see it. In the first round, we played LA and we won 4-1. In the second round, we swept the Sharks, going to the conference final against Dallas. Dallas, that was their second year in a row going to the conference finals. Actually, they made it to the Cup finals last year, but this year we had something to say about that, and we beat Detroit in the finals 4-2. Let's take a peek over now at Forster's stats. How'd he do? So 21 games played, 7 goals, 28 assists for 35 points. That is a solid postseason numbers. Only a +6, which is slightly concerning. However, it doesn't even matter because we won the Stanley Cup. take a look at that. We got a Stanley Cup, won in 2036, 2037. Conn Smythe Trophy, same year. We've got the Norris 4 times now, and we won the Calder in our rookie season. And we still have 3 years left on our deal. So let's see, can we be back-to-back Stanley Cup champions? So this offseason, we have acquired Kyle Connor. However, as nice as that sounds on the outside, he's 40 years old and is an 82 overall. Defense. Nothing really has changed other than the fact that Kincaid has really progressed. He's an 89 overall now. So we kind of got a pretty solid top squad here defensively. This may be an issue. Our goaltending. This might be an issue, but we'll cross that bridge should we need to. All right, so Foster had 95 points this past season, 23 goals and 72 assists, plus 18 on the season. Let's see how that compares to the other D-man in the league. First, it was a rough year for defensemen. There was not much action there. We were the only player to get in the 90s, let alone the 80s. One of 3 point per player defensemen in the league right now. So it's looking like the only thing that may not be in our favor is the fact that McKellar is a plus 74 on the year. He may have had 16 less points than we did, but he was like plus 50 more, give or take. So that may be a bit of a wrench in the plans. Calgary makes the playoffs again. They're playing against the Anaheim Ducks in the first round. So let's see, can we go back to back? The Chicago Blackhawks again win the Stanley Cup. It's mighty unfortunate. In the first round, we got swept by Anaheim, who then got swept by the Blues, who lost to the Blackhawks, who beat the Leafs in the finals. Sorry, Leafs fans, you're going to have to wait another year in order to see a Stanley Cup. 2038, by the way. In those 4 games, let's take a peek and see how Foster played. Oh no, where did he go? Oh, he's all the way down here. Only 1 point in 4 games and was a -2. So nothing really commendable there. So Celebrini gets back-to-back years. Art Ross, Hart, and the Norris did in fact go to McKellar. I was worried about that plus minus would really play a big factor, and it in fact did. So no trophies for us this year, which is sad. Looking at our career stats, we've got just a little bit shy of 1,400 points. We're gonna likely break the 1,000 assist barrier this year, and who know? No, we're not getting 80 goals. Who am I kidding myself? I would say it would be awesome to see get 500 goals this year. Who knows? Maybe we'll pop off. I highly doubt it. 303 power play points and 38 shorthanded points. So let's see what Reginald Foster will do this year. This is what I've been waiting for. Tej Aginla has finally been progressing, and he's up to an 88 overall. Lokdionov, or however you say his name, he's progressed and now has 2 X Factor abilities too. Coronado is still kicking around 85 overall. We don't quite have the depth that we used to have, so I'm not sure if a cup runs in our future here. But look at this. Foster's still 99 overall. Kincaid's up to a 90 now. Perek also at a 90. So we're really going to see how this goes. We've got 2 years left on our contract. I think Perek's got 3 on his. That's right. What about Kincaid? How much longer is he kicking around for? Look at that, 5 years. And that's a pretty team-friendly deal, too, for a 90 overall guy. Just when you thought Reginald Foster was kind of slipping in his play, he pops off with a 117 point season, and for the first time in our career, we finally have someone on our team above 100 points with us. Thank you, Aginla, for being the way you are. And he's still an 88 overall, but look at this, 61 goals for Aginla, 45 assists. Foster had 32 goals and 85 assists. I am absolutely loving this chemistry that we're building. And just out of curiosity, I know I only have 1 more year left, but Aginla's got a 5-year deal. So if we do re-sign with Calgary, I would not be opposed after the following season. Look at this too. Foster in the top 10 for points. I mean, there's a 50-point spread between him and Celebrini, but that is okay. That is way okay. So Bedard gets 84 goals And Will Smith with 99 assists. Looking at defenseman, Power is the next guy, but he's almost 20 points back. So, or by 20, I mean 40. Yeah, wow. And pretty even plus minuses too. So unless for some reason Nemec at 81 points, who's got almost doubled our plus minus, if he gets the Norris, then we can definitely chalk up what that trophy is definitely heavily weighted on. For now, Calgary's in the playoffs facing against the Anaheim Ducks again for the second season in a row. Will we not get swept this year? That's definitely the hope. Let's see. And the San Jose Sharks are the Stanley Cup champions. I mean, with Celebrini and Smith's point totals, I am not even surprised in the least with that. Let's see how the team do. So we won in 5 in the first round, then got swept by the Sharks, and then Minnesota surprisingly takes the Sharks to 7, but could not muster up that game 7 win, and then the Sharks beat the Penguins in the finals. A little rematch of 2017 or 2016. I often mix those 2 years up. You all know what I mean. Let's take a peek at Foster's points in the playoffs. Led the team with 15 points in 9 games. Iginla had 11 and Lokhtinoyev had 10. So no surprise that Celebrini gets the Art Ross and the Hart in his 3rd straight year. Foster gets the Norris once again. So we broke through 1,000 apples that year. And this year, we're potentially looking to get 500 goals. I mean, 55 isn't impossible for a player who definitely values assists more. Maybe not. If not this year, then maybe next. We'll get 500 goals. We're definitely going to be breaking 1,500 points this season. And there is potential, too. Let me pull up my stat sheet here. There's a chance we may pass for most points in defenseman history. Ray Bourque has 1,579 points. Now, we are roughly 89 points away from that. So, and that's not roughly, that is the number. We are 89 points away from tying Ray Bourque for all-time points by a defenseman. Now, I'm not sure whether Cale Makar, he's probably past that on this simulation. There's no way of really knowing, I don't believe. But nonetheless, here we are. Looking at the record book, Cale Makar has 1,339 assists all time. So it's very likely that he is past that number already, but we're just going to go off today's statistics. Looking across the whole league at career statistics and records, the most goals currently is held by Austin Matthews with 1,367. We will never forget that 118 goal season. Bedard also had a 108 goal season, so right behind him, 1,290. Gretzky's name isn't even on that list anymore. Although no one has been able to pass Gretzky in points. Austin Matthews is retired right now, so he's done. He was shy by about 400 points. McDavid is also retired. He was shy by about 600 points. Crazy that Austin Matthews had more points than Connor McDavid, though, if I'm being the most for real. Cale Makar, look at those assist totals. We're creeping up on that. We're only about 200 assists back from those numbers, at least from the number 5 spot. Wayne Gretzky, just untouched. 600 assists behind is Connor McDavid. Pretty impressive. We're going to see what's in store for us this upcoming year. All right, so Alexis Lafreniere joins the squad. Lokhtinoyev is up to 89. Iginla's an 88 still. Timmy Stu also joins the squad at an 81 overall. And then Kincaid takes Parek's place. Parek is 33 and is apparently regressing already. We're still up at a 99 even though we're 32. I'm wondering if because we're a custom player we will just always stay at 99. Hey, we haven't started regressing yet, so you will not see me complaining about that. Well, looky here. 107 points, 33 goals, 74 assists. Another 100-point season for Iginla as well. And with those 107 points, that does in fact put us above Ray Bourque at 1,597 points. Couldn't quite break the 1,600 point marker, but that's okay. When we look at the entire league, Bedard, 109 goals. He's 34, but he's still sniping him like he's 22. So here we are. Frondell guy had 101 assists. Probably each one was on Bedard's goal too. Looking at defensemen, Foster is first once again. 77 points is the runner-up to 107. So we were 30 points above the next defenseman. We're just running away with Norris trophies at this point. And once again, Calgary has made the playoffs, and they play against the San Jose Sharks, who swept them last year. And I'm hoping the fact that I didn't see Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith's name super high up is a good thing, unless I'm just blanking and I did see them. Oh, look at that. Celebrini was second. Well, what do you know? Is Eklund still with the Sharks? He is. This may be a tough series. Well, the Nashville Predators are the Stanley Cup champions this year. Let's take a peek and see what happened in the playoffs. Did we beat the Sharks, or were we beaten out in the first round? Oh, look at that. We went all the way to the conference final and then lost in 5. We swept the Sharks and almost swept the Kings too, but then we almost got swept ourselves. So had we have won that series, we likely would have beaten Tampa. Foster with 27 points in 14 games. Lafreniere, oh, I forgot we had him, not gonna lie. 15 points in 14 games. Aginla, a quiet 12 points in 14 games. Foster once again just carrying the squad on his back. He was, even despite not playing in the final round and having played 10 games less than some of these players, he was 5th in scoring. That's wild. Michkov too, 12 games, 22 points. Look at him go. And still with Philly. Wow. The more you know. Well, this season's going to be interesting for sure. We're going to see who are we going to sign with? Who's Foster going to go with? That was the last year of our deal, so is it going to be the Flames? Is he going to be a career Flamer, or is he going to venture out somewhere else? Let's see what happens. Oh, Matthews is just retiring this season. Whoa, I totally thought that he was already retired. Look at him go. He was an 84 overall. Timmy Stu retires this year as well. One thing I forgot to do is I forgot to look at the awards. Who won what? Bedard, and then Foster again, the 4th time in 5 years. Bedard gets the Lady Byng, and that's looking like that is all of the trophies we are getting this year. We're just a shoe-in for the Norris. Oh, wait a second. Look at Foster's overall. It dropped from a 99 to a 96 this year. Yikes. I hope that gets back up for next year. Did we sign an extension? It says 1 year remaining, but then I see through 2043. Interesting. The moment of truth. Foster, a 95 overall now. He's starting to drop, but he did in fact sign a 3-year extension with Calgary. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of those 3 years, he retires. So let's see. Can we win another cup in these last 3 seasons? And can we get past 2,000 points? That was kind of our goal, was to get up in the 2,000s. So let's see what we do. For the first time in our career, perhaps, we have been outscored on our team. T. Jaginla gets 112 points, Foster with 111. We had 92 assists and only 19 goals that season. So we were a plus 29. I'm hoping that doesn't affect our chances at the Norris. We're looking to try to become a 7-time Norris recipient. Yeah, very, very curious to see how that plays out. Bedard, 97 goals. But he's outscored. Tyler Borodziuk has 106 goals. Would you believe it? Let's take a peek at other defensemen in the league. Tarky has 99 points. He's a plus 42 though, and that may be just the difference. Even though he's 12 points behind, I think that difference in plus minus may be just enough. And we have made the playoffs once again. We're playing against the Edmonton Oilers. First off, did we win a President's Trophy this year? Look at that. President's Trophy. 119 points, 56, 19, and 7. I think that's the first time in our career that we have actually won the President's Trophy. If I go back to Forrester, would the President's Trophy be shown? At least not yet. If it's shown there, then that means that it's the first time ever. But if not, then who knows? Maybe another time we did. All of that is to say, let's see how we do in the playoffs. And for back-to-back years, the Nashville Predators are the Stanley Cup champions. So we beat Edmonton in the first round in Game 5, but then Anaheim sweeps us in the second round just to get swept by Nashville, who then beats the Detroit Red Wings. A lot of sweeps happening in this playoffs. Sad, sad news. All right, let's take a look at the player stats for this year. Foster, 9 games, 11 points. In 1 year, we've dropped from a 96 to a 92, so we are on the decline, which is a very sad thing to see. I'm guessing at the end of this 3-year deal, we may sign another 1-year deal, but I've got a feeling that we are going to probably end up hanging up the skates after this. Let's see, did we have enough? We did have enough to win the Norris. Absolutely love to see that. That is the only award that we are getting. It does not show the President's Trophy down there, so there is a chance that we have won that before. So Zane Parekh has dropped down to an 84 this offseason. We're still kicking around at 82. Looking at the offensive side of our team, not much has changed again. However, we don't really have as much depth as we had before. A couple 70s as centers, and so that's not too great. Let's hope. Do we have a good goalie? Okay, we got an 81 overall goalie, so not the best. Also not the worst we've seen. So let's see how we do in this season. This could be our second last season in the NHL. You never know. We had a rough one this season. We were almost a point per game. We weren't quite a point per game. We were almost a point per game. 81 points this season, 19 goals, 62 assists. We are starting to slip away, I'm afraid. Still a 92 overall. Will 81 points be enough to win a Norris this year? By the looks of how many points some of these other players are getting, my guess is probably not. Will Smith and Celebrini are still up here in the top 10. Connor Bedard also. But if we're taking a peek at defensemen, I think McKellar's going to get it this year. He's got not only the point advantage on us, also the plus-minus advantage. Although, McKellar, stay out of the box, buddy. 73 penalty minutes. What are you doing? This isn't the no-show. Okay, here we go. Let's see how we do in the playoffs this year. We made it again against the Kings this time. Will Nashville three-peat? That is the big question. Let's see if we can put an end to their streak here. The Stanley Cup champions this year are the Boston Bruins. Did we make it to the Stanley Cup final this year? Who knows? Nope, we lost in the first round to the Kings. Nashville makes it to the finals for the 3rd straight year, but then loses in 7 to Boston. That's unfortunate for them, but I can't believe that we didn't make it out of the first round. That's sad. Let's see, did we get a point per game in this playoffs too? We played 6 games and we had 8 points. Okay, so that's not too bad. We dropped down to a 91 from the end of the season to the end of the playoffs. So hopefully we're still in the 90s at the start of the next season. It may be our last season in the NHL, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that. As far as awards go, a couple no-namers are getting some trophies, but we do know this name, McKellar. He stole it from us a couple seasons ago, and here he is again with the Norris. We may have reached our threshold, and we're maybe on the decline of not getting any other trophies or anything like that. So let's take a peek at our career stats before we go into potentially our last season. So we are just shy of 1,800 points. How awesome would it be if we just popped off for this final season and got 1,900? I'm saying final season. I don't know. I could sign with another team again. You never know. 516 goals. 1,273 assists for 1,789 points. We have 393 power play points in our career, and we have 44 shorthanded points. We our 7-time Norris Trophy recipient. We won the Calder in our rookie season, and we won the Cup once. In that year, we got the Conn Smythe. So, that's a pretty solid stat line. I would say that is Hall of Fame worthy. Celebrini finally hangs up the skates, so there's a chance that we may get past the Sharks now. Matthew Nyes stuck with Toronto for his whole career, got 1,600 points in the process. That's a pretty solid career for him. Tyson Forrester, the man whose name I keep wanting to say, Forrester instead of Foster, he has retired as well. So, yeah, this may not be a playoff year for us. We've got some low 80s players all around the board. So, good depth pieces, but I don't know if we've got any star talent that we need, And looking on defense, we've moved over to the left side. We're an 89 overall now, so we couldn't keep it up to 90. Kincaid, he's only 25 and he's 90 overall, so hopefully he can kind of help keep us in good shape here. But all around, it's not looking like the best of teams, so we're gonna really see how this year goes for us. All right, so given the fact that we're declining, Foster had a pretty good season. 83 points, 29 goals, 54 assists. We didn't really get much help this year. 59 points is the next best on our team. If we jump ahead and look to the whole league, Bedard still lighting it up at 37. This guy, whoever he is, that's 2 years in a row where he's gotten over 100 goals. That's pretty wild. If we check out just the defenseman stats, oh, look at that. That's awesome. Although that 39 plus minus may beat our 10, especially given the fact that we only have 1 point more. We'll have to see. We did not make the playoffs this year. This is what the playoff tree is looking like. And yeah, so I guess we're just going to have to find out and see whether or not we're going to re-sign or if we're going to retire. So we'll keep an eye out on the retired players list, and yeah, we'll see how things progress here. All right, so looking at the retired players this year, I'm not seeing Reginald on there. So it's looking like he's going to probably play another year in the NHL at least. The Washington Capitals were the Stanley Cup champions this year. And let's see, did Foster get the Norris? So Bedard's getting both those. And that's not who else I thought was going to get it. Okay, well, the more you know, I guess. And no trophies to add to our case this year. Okay, once again, moment of truth. Did Foster stay on the Flames? He did. Now, I'm guessing it's only going to be a 1-year deal. Oh, it was a 2-year deal. Okay, so we got 2 more years in the show. It'll for 18 mil too. Dang, he's still getting paid. He is a 89 overall, so it didn't drop from last year, which is kind of nice. Kincaid dropped 1 overall, which is surprising considering the fact he's still pretty young. But yeah, I guess we're going to see how this season goes. Looking at the offense, it's not looking like a pretty good season for us. I'd be surprised if we make the playoffs this year, to be quite frank. All right, so that's back-to-back seasons with 83 points. We had 32 goals and 51 assists. Again, no help. 63 points is the next. I'm starting to think that our chances of winning another cup are probably pretty slim. We're in a bit of a rebuilding season right now. However, we did still get the most amount of points out of defensemen. Our plus minus, though, will definitely disqualify us from a Norris, even though we got the most amount of points. But hey, is what it is. We're still a point per game kind of player, and I'm honestly loving what I'm seeing. However, we did drop down to an 85 overall. I'm not necessarily liking that as much. We also did not make a playoff spot. Like I said, we're in a bit of a rebuilding phase right now, so we'll see what we get in the offseason for what is probably likely our final year, but I've said that before, and here we are. So the Colorado Avalanche are the Stanley Cup champions this year. Bedard, once again, Art Ross, and Hart. He's just had an incredible career. The Norris goes to Plus, who I don't even know who that is, to be honest. Here we are, and there are no more awards coming our way. So That is unfortunate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Reginald Foster. He is in the list of players who are retiring this year. So he had 1,550 games played, 577 goals, 1,378 assists for 1,955 points. We couldn't quite break through that 2,000 point threshold, but let's take a look at our other stats for our career. 340 plus minus. We just got over 500 penalty minutes. Shot 8.9%, not bad for a defenseman. We had 420 power play points, 47 shorthanded points, and let's take a look. We had 1,679 hits and 2,156 blocked shots. More giveaways and takeaways, also something you don't necessarily want to see. But that is it. We couldn't quite break 2,000 points as a defenseman. I thought we would be able to do it, but we were so close. If today's stats are what we're going based off of, we would be second, beating Jaromir Jagr, who's second with 1,921 points, and we got 1,955. So we still wouldn't have had as many assists as Wayne Gretzky, which is one of the craziest hockey stats I think ever. But here we are, retired. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, make sure that you leave a like and you comment and you share it with a friend. And then most importantly, remember to subscribe so that way you can stay up to date on what Welch On-Ice is doing. There's a lot of exciting stuff that's going to be coming out pretty soon. And so, yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that, and we'll catch you on the next episode. All right, thanks, guys. Peace.